If you're an internet entrepreneur or you've been thinking about how can I make some money on the internet, I'm going to explain why selling knowledge is probably one of the best things that you can sell online. The coolest thing is you all have some sort of knowledge that exists currently in your brain right now that you could be making money off of because other people want that knowledge. You may not just recognize it. My name is Chris, and I've sold over 7 figures online with my own knowledge, so I want to show you how to do the same thing. So why is knowledge the best thing to sell? The first thing is the value of it. Knowledge is almost more valuable than any physical product that I can think of. You could think of like the biggest item in the world, a yacht, a house, doesn't matter what it is. Information can be more valuable than any of those things. Because with the right information, you could buy all those things time and time again. So it has the potential to change somebody's life depending on what the knowledge is. Obviously, there's things as small as, well, how do we clean our desk? Over to things of how do we make millions of dollars in our business? So the potential is so vast. But depending on what it is, it could be more life-changing to somebody than almost any physical product. And everything that exists around us, like if you think about the computer that I'm on right now, the camera, this microphone, this house, this roof above my head, everything has been built because knowledge has been passed down from one person to another, to another, to another over a long period of time. These things weren't created overnight. It's not like one person thought about how to make a water bottle and then it was just done. It was optimized over time. So maybe it started out as like really terrible plastic, and then eventually they made metal, and eventually they made glass. So things got optimized over time because that knowledge was passed down. However, if that knowledge wasn't passed down, we wouldn't be able to make it better because we don't have the baseline fundamental knowledge of how to make the initial thing. So we can't make something better unless we know how to make it. So this knowledge had to be passed down. Think about the houses. Think about houses that were built in the 1800s versus what houses look like today. How fast do houses get built today versus before? So that's why knowledge is so important. And it's amazing because of the delivery ease, meaning that there's no inventory. That means there's no delivery time, which means you don't have to have any product insurance. So delivering it is so easy, especially with the internet now, because it could be automated even. If somebody bought a course from you and they went and checked out an order page, you could have an automation where they send it to your email as soon as they pay you. That means that you didn't have to do anything. This could have happened while you were sleeping and you didn't even notice that you made money and you delivered a product until you woke up. So there's no inventory. That means nothing can go wrong. Like if you had a warehouse full of fuzzy jackets, that has the potential to go up in flames. And if it were to go up in flames, you would wish you have insurance, which you would have to pay for. Or if you were delivering something and that product got lost, or the customer is like, where's my product? You don't have to explain to them. You don't have to give them money back. You don't have to do anything. The delivery is just so important and it minimizes so much stuff. Think about like all the inventory you have to buy. There's so many businesses that have to stack inventory. If you sold t-shirts, you'd have to have 80 smalls, 80 mediums, 80 larges, 80 XLs, and just hope that somebody buys each individual unit of each size. And if it doesn't sell, guess whose pocket it comes out of? So that's why I believe it's very important to have something that is easy to deliver. There's nothing easier than knowledge. Knowledge is like next to selling air. You can have it happen instantaneously. There's nothing you have to hold on to, and you can change it at any time. So if you learn more things about your topic, let's say along the way, you can just add more to it, and then you can increase your price because you're adding more value. Or if you feel like something isn't resonating well, you can pull it out. Or if you just want to change anything, you could change it at any time. So when I make a course, I'll have the foundation of the entire topic that I want to teach. And let's say these questions keep coming up with clients. It feels like there's something missing in the course. Well, I can just re-record another lesson. It's 15 minutes, plug it in the course, problem is solved. So now my product is starting to get better over time, the more feedback that I get. But I don't have to tear things apart. I don't have to rebuild anything. I just add on to it, and slowly over time, it just gets better and better and better and better until there's no more questions. And now it's just a great product that everybody's going to get results from and they're going to love. A great thing too is like you don't run out. If you think about almost any other thing, whether it's time, whether it's product, if I have 50 t-shirts and I sell out of those 50 t-shirts, I am out of t-shirts. That means if somebody else wanted to buy, I literally can't sell it to them. I'd have to be like, sorry, you're going to have to wait until we get more. And that sucks because then they don't get it, they're unhappy, and then we don't make any money. And if you think about time, right? If you were to get paid $30 an hour, let's say you work a 24-hour day, you can't add any more. You can't be like, I'm going to work a 25th hour this day. If you wanted to work overtime, you can't be like, I want to put in a 40-hour day. You can't do that. There's limitations. Whereas with information, you just don't run out of it. If I told a piece of information, if I taught you how to play the drums, I don't run out of any less knowledge. I just go to the next person, tell them the same thing, go to the next person, tell them the same thing. Or even better, if I recorded it once and had a course, if I sold that course to somebody, I don't run out of units. It's not like I only have 1,000 units I can sell. I have unlimited units. I don't run out of any of it and I don't lose anything. If you're trading your time for money and you trade an hour away, you work that hour to get $50, you're never getting that hour back. No matter what you do, you're not getting that hour back. If you traded $1, you're not getting that dollar back. I mean, you can make it up in another way, but you're giving it away. Whereas if you have knowledge and you give it away, you don't have any less knowledge than when you started. So that's why it's also amazing. The great thing is you all that are watching this right now know something that is valuable to somebody else. We just don't realize it. And the reason we don't realize it is because it could be blatantly obvious to us because we've known it for so long. There's got to be things that you can think of right now that you're so good at that it's second nature to you. So you just assume that it's not valuable and other people know how to do it. But there's other people out there dying to know how to do it. It could be something as simple as like, how do I cook this certain soup? How do I make this certain meal? And you've been cooking it your entire life. So you're like, it's just, you just throw these ingredients together, done. But to somebody else, that's very valuable. There's a lot of things that I can think of that are just like completely obvious to me, right? When it comes to music, let's say, I would think everybody knew it. And it was a surprise to me when I started posting on social media about some of the music things that I was sharing. It was very basic things that I assumed everybody knew. But those were the things that got the most likes. Those were the things that got the most attention. Is because I assumed that everybody knew it, but it turns out I was wrong. There was many people who wanted to know it and they were willing to pay me more to learn on a deeper level. So you don't realize how important the things are that you know until you start sharing it with the world and you start to realize that not everybody knows these things. So think deep in your head right now, like what are some things that you're really good at? Because I guarantee you those thoughts are valuable to somebody else, no matter how obvious it seems to us. Think of yourself 10 years ago. Let's just say you're a guitar player, right? You've been playing for the last 20 years. Think of where you were 10 years ago. It's 2024. Think of where you were in 2014. Think of that version of you. If you knew then what you know now and you didn't have to spend 10 years, how much is that worth? How much time would you save? How much further along would you be if you condensed that knowledge, learned it 10 years ago, then spent the other 10 years executing and growing further in that? How much further would you be? And I think about this all the time. Is like if I knew what I knew today in business 10 years ago, I'd be 10 years further in my business than I am today. That's not something that I can get back either. And so there are so many people out there that are willing to learn and shortcut that time horizon so that they can condense the learning so that they can get further, because there's a lot of people that deem information very valuable. That's why people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on college. Even when they know, it doesn't guarantee them a job. And the cool thing about this is like anyone can start this type of business. Anyone can start a business of teaching other people on the internet. You don't need to be an absolute expert to start an online education business. You just need to know how to get someone whose level's under where you currently are to a position where they level up just a little bit. So if you think of someone who's just one step behind you, let's just say they're just one level behind you. If you can get them to the next level, that person is willing to pay you for your knowledge. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to be helping everybody on the internet. Of course, there's going to be people that are better than you. There always is. Of course, there's always going to be people who are way too far behind you to where it's just too hard to help them. And that's fine. but you should be helping the people who want to get to where you're at, and they're just a few steps behind you. Those are your ideal clients. And again, I like to use the example of think of yourself 5 years ago. Think of yourself in that position. How much would you pay yourself now to know what you know today and be able to shortcut that time and save that 5 years? So there's been so many ridiculous $1 million businesses that exist. There's ones that show people how to use Microsoft Excel. There's literally one that shows people how to jump rope. There's a multi-million-dollar business of a coach that shows people how to do handstands. Handstands. I don't know how to say that any differently. Showing you how to do handstands and make millions of dollars, like that's absurd. That's so niche. That's so specific. So a lot of times people will come up to me and just say, I don't know if what I have is valuable. Handstands, millions of dollars. I don't know how to explain that any differently. Guitar. Some people show people how to date, pick up girls, find the love of their life, just hook up, stuff like that. There's so much more too. These are just a few examples of literally ones that I have seen thrive in the online coaching business space. These are just a few of them. There's so many more. Some of the most ridiculous things you can think of right now, people have done. There's one where people show you how to like organize your desk. This is not stuff that I would pay for. It's not stuff that you might not pay for, but there's somebody out there that would pay for it because there's millions of people out there, right? There's a market for nearly everything. There's always going to be people who are willing to save time for what they want to know, and they'd rather spend their money than use their time to try to figure it out on their own. Look, there's millions of people out there, and you only need a few people to say yes to you for you to be able to make money online and even make good money and make a living. Let's say you charge $2,000 to learn how to improvise on the guitar. Not even how to play this chord, not how to be a complete master, just learn how to improvise. Let's say you charge $2,000, right? You only need 5 people per month to be able to make 6 figures. That's just math. You can't deny math. If you charge $2,000, you get 5 people to say yes to you each time. Out of the millions of people out there, out of all the people who want to learn how to play guitar, you need 5 people to say yes to you each month. You just made 6 figures a year. So you're like, well, why would somebody pay that much? There's always people who value their time way more. I get it. Like if you're in a position where you're just like an employee and you're trading your time for money, like you always think, well, I'd rather show up for work if I'm able to make $1 here or $2. There's people out there who value their time way more, because once you solve the financial situation, when I didn't have any money, that's all I could think of is like, how do I trade my time to just get a few bucks just to survive? But once you get into a position where you've solved your financial issues, and that's not the first indicator of a buying decision anymore, you start thinking about things that are actually more valuable. And now we all understand that time is more valuable than money as a concept, but until you actually solve the financial situation, you truly understand how valuable time is. And there's people who value their time way more, me included. I value my time way over money. And we need to just like stop thinking from our own wallets. Just because we can't afford something doesn't mean there aren't people out there who can afford it, and it doesn't cost much to them, and their time means so much more. People buy useless things all the time, every day, right? Remember COVID? Remember those stimulus checks? Like, what did people do with those? Like, I know Amazon stocks shot up. People were buying crazy things on the internet all the time. So even when people are handed money, they don't know what to do with it. They spend money on useless things all the time. Do you think they wouldn't invest in a great skill? The big thing too is like, have you ever asked anyone to buy something for $2,000 from you? If the answer is no, like you've never given them the chance to even say yes or say no. And so you just have to put yourself in that position, and you just have to understand that the world is abundant. There's millions of people out there, and they don't all make the same decisions. So most people charge like $60 an hour to learn guitar, right? That's because they're selling their time, which isn't as valuable. Like the guitar instructor's time is not valuable to them. So they're just thinking in terms of, okay, well, for an hour of his time, this is what I get. What you want to sell is the outcome. The outcome is more valuable. Instead of saying, well, I can show you how to improvise. My time's, $60 an hour, and I'll show you how to play guitar. Instead, if you sell them on improvising, look, if you're able to have the skill of improvising, you can jump on the stage with any musician. You can jam with any musician. And as soon as they say, hey, play on this key, play on this scale, you'll be able to improvise, and you'll be able to show all your friends, and you'll be able to be the hit of the town. If you sold it like that, and I can show you how to improvise, and I can show you how to do that, it's just $2K. It's way different, right? It's all about the packaging. So a Gucci shirt costs at least 10 times more than a Walmart shirt. Is there 10 times as much material? Does it last 10 times as long? Look, some people buy things because it's expensive. People don't buy a Gucci shirt because they're like, I got this for a great deal. They buy that because it's expensive. It's status, right? Some people just want the best of the best. Some people like buying expensive things because it makes them feel good. There's a reason why people buy Rolexes. There's a reason why people buy Lamborghinis, Gucci shirts, expensive things. Doesn't matter what it is. There's always people who buy expensive things because it's expensive. They don't buy it because it's cheap. So break free of the mindset that we all make the same purchasing decisions. I understand that if you're in a place where you're struggling financially, you make your decisions based on that first. But there are other people out there that don't do that. And those people are willing to pay you to learn a skill set that you can offer them that is valuable to them. There's nothing more valuable than knowledge in our human race. And there's certain knowledge that can really change people's lives. But you can make an amazing living just showing people how to get these results for themselves. If you want to learn how to grow a high-ticket coaching business, I'm going to leave a link down below for you to book a call, but I hope this was helpful to you and changed your perspective. Please like this video and subscribe if you found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one.